on.
Let's see. I think we might
It looks
be good.
It says it's live.
All right, cool.
We got to give everyone
All right.
a minute.
Set up here. Get rid of that. Okay. Okay. Hey guys, welcome. So Amy and I are here today. Last week Amy was here by herself, so this is the first week I'm joining for these Soul Sunday talks. And this is when we take about 15 minutes and we talk about different topics that are in the metaphysical community, part of metaphysical practice, things you might have heard out in the community or on TikTok or whatever. So we're just going to tackle topics on Sundays and pour into you guys, pour into your soul. We're talking in February about love, and last week Amy talked a lot about soul contracts and what that meant. So this week we're going to talk about soulmates and twin flames. And I know a lot of you have come in and maybe had conversations with us about this, but we thought it was an important topic, particularly when we're talking about healthy love in the month of February, to identify the ways in which the soulmate relationships or connections and the twin flame relationships are used to justify toxicity in relationships. So, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So I think the first thing we want to get to is, how are these things used as a way to justify toxic relationships?
Well, yeah. Well, I think maybe let's start by defining the difference. And then, so soulmates are, and look, I think it's important to say that none of us have all of the answers about these things, right? Like, we're all people. We're all limited by our human condition. And so we are trying to understand and integrate these lessons, these words, these things as best we can from our limited human perspective. So, some people have different ideas about what these things mean, might define them differently. I'm not here to say that I know absolutely the number, the absolute truth, and that someone else is wrong, but we are discussing, because we have these conversations with each other, because it is our goal to continue to increase our knowledge, to spiritually level up, to understand these things on a deeper level so that we can grow as people too. But from what we can understand, soulmates are about sort of your soul family, right? Mm-hmm. So you were talking about that a little bit.
So the soul family, up in the spiritual realm, we have these groups of spirits that we kind of reincarnate with, that we travel with through lifetimes. And I call these your soul family. These are the spirits that are the souls that are the closest in proximity to you, tend to reincarnate together, and a lot of times we'll have these soul contracts. Mm-hmm. Now, soul contracts, as we learned about last week when Amy was discussing it, are agreements that we make with each other prior to coming down here to have a lifetime. We make these agreements with each other to have certain experiences, to learn certain lessons, and to do certain things. And so
to play certain roles.
Roles for each other, yeah. And so that's kind of how I always view soulmates. And there are a number of different people in your life who could be considered a soulmate. There is not just one soulmate, in my opinion. I think we have multiple soulmates each lifetime, because there are multiple souls that we are close enough to in our soul group. And these can manifest as children, spouses, partners, parents, family members, close friends that we become very attached to here in the earthly realm. So it's any of these roles, and these roles have an exchange, and the exchange is to help us walk through this lifetime learning lessons, experiencing certain things, and your soulmate is there to walk through with you in a way that's supportive and generally has the potential for growth.
Right.
Now, twin
these
flames,
are people that you've known for lifetimes, people
Many
that you
lifetimes.
Recognize instantly and see yourself in instantly.
Yeah, if you guys have ever been out anywhere and you meet someone new and you're like, I feel like I've met this person before, or you have such an instant connection with someone that you're very drawn to them, these could all be sort of breadcrumbs pointing towards this person being part of your soul family and potentially a soul mate.
Right. And twin flames are something that, so the way that they're described is more about that your souls, you share a soul, and that there's been a divergence of some kind, and that the goal is ultimately integration. but you share the same soul, you're the same entity, you're connected on a soul level, which I play around with the idea of, personally, twin flames, and whether or not this is something that I really recognize as something unique, or whether it's just a way of describing like everything, the relationship that we have with everything, because we all come from source. We all share a soul in that sense, is that because we are all created from source. And integration isn't about integrating with one other soul on the planet. It's about integrating with everything.
The collective.
With source. So I kind of play around with the twin flame idea about whether or not it's something that I really take that seriously or really see as something unique. However, it's a word that gets used a lot, and I think it's important to understand it because it's a word that gets abused a lot as well. So a twin flame is, so a soulmate is going to be something a little bit more like feeling like coming at home, feeling like you know and understand each other, and there's support, and there's commitment, there's long term there. A twin flame tends to be more combustive, intense, flammable. There's opposite. If you are two parts of one soul, you are opposites, and so it's going to be difficult to make those opposites see eye to eye. And there's an intense feeling of connection and desire for each other, but there's a difficulty making that desire become sustainable because of the intensity and because of the opposition.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times, people will use the word twin flame to describe relationships and connections that they have with other people that are combustive and intense and extreme and explosive. And there's this, this urge to kind of define those relationships as a twin flame relationship instead of really just analyzing it in terms of the human experience, mm-hmm. that maybe that other person's experience and their behavior is a result of their life experience and not because they're somehow combustible with you. I think as you look into mm-hmm. that person's life, the person you would consider a twin flame, yeah, you're incredibly attracted to him. Is that something that's inside you, or is that something that's a twin flame connection?
And I think that the danger of the twin flame idea is what's happened is that a lot of people, a lot of spiritually minded people, a lot of people on this sort of path come into these situations, and as humans, it is hard for us to accept when something is not working, especially if we have a deep desire for it. And I think that the twin flame idea is used to cling on and attach oneself to something that is toxic, and we use the twin flame as an excuse or a justification to stay in this very toxic situation. Like, oh yeah, it's really, it gets violent, and yeah, they talk to me this way, and actually, I've had some conversations with people talking about, like, they've asked me to leave them alone or put a PDF on me, and they're like, but that's no, you are grasping on to something that is not for you.
Something that should be released.
That needs to be released. Dispelled. And the thing this is how I know when somebody really doesn't believe that someone's their twin flame, right? Because if you really believe that that's true, then if there's a separation, or if that person is taking space away, or if it doesn't seem to be working in this iteration, your true twin flame will always come back to you. There will always be a return. So if you're clinging desperately to somebody, then you don't believe that person is your twin flame. You just don't want to let go. Right. And furthermore, by clinging desperately, by refusing the release of that person into their own experience, into their own process, into their own lessons, you actually prolong the integration process, therefore keeping you apart longer, if that is in fact the person that's for you.
If we assume and we move forward through the world under the assumption that the people that we interact with, the exchanges we have, are all designed to teach us lessons, to advance our spiritual soul, to advance our understanding, to advance our self-awareness, our awareness of others, then we have to acknowledge that toxicity And the thing that is causing so much chaos is meant to teach you a lesson about releasing, a lesson about letting go, a lesson about self-worth and valuing yourself over this. Well, Amy toys with the idea of twin flames, so do I, because I almost view twin flames as an elevated version of soulmates. It's an extra special contract that you have made with one of your soul group members to come together so that you can work through individually, not together, work through the idea of releasing and integration and allowing things to let go. And so I think that as we move through this lifetime, if we find ourselves in these situations where it's exceptionally toxic, the lesson to be learned here is one of release, one of self-value, one of self-worth, one of learning how to navigate grief, not necessarily clinging to just because it's exceptionally more toxic than other relationships you have.
Or because it's intense, or because there's a deep desire. We all have been in that situation where our desire for somebody did not match what is happening in that relationship. We desire what we want from that person is not forthcoming. What we want the relationship to be is not what it is become. And it's a natural human tendency to try to latch on and hold on and cling. And, that's normal, that there's no judgment there. But what we are saying is that if you're calling that a twin flame situation just because you can't let go, you're only really harming yourself, and you're really only harming your connection with that person as well. Desire is okay. Wanting to be with somebody is okay. Having hope that something will be better later is okay. But the more that we push something that is not good for us or for the other person, the more damage we do to that relationship and to that connection. And truly, if we really love somebody, if we have a deep soul connection to somebody, then we want what's best for them too. And if we have become the toxic person, the toxic thing in their life, we aren't loving them either.
Right. And I would also, while we're talking about this, just put out there that, if you're talking to someone and someone's giving you spiritual counseling and they're telling you to stay in a relationship because it's a twin flame relationship, even though this relationship is incredibly damaging to you and is causing chaos and all sorts of problems in your life, you need to really think about the advice that person's giving you, because they really do not have your best interest in mind. This lifetime, every lifetime, is about us learning the lessons that we need to learn to elevate ourselves and to expand our consciousness and our awareness and our spiritual growth. And toxic relationships are never going to do that. Toxic relationships will only make you go inward, will only make you regress.
Create damage.
Yeah, create more damage that you have to clean up.
That you have to learn lessons about.
Right.
And then now there's more.
Now there's more lessons.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah.
I would just caution you, because I do see a lot of people that are like, well, maybe it's a twin flame relationship, so you should just stay in it and muscle through it and help the person.
To that I say, so what? So what if it's your twin flame? Great. Live your life. Go, move on, live your life well, focus on yourself, and if that is true, there's nothing that you can do to prevent that from coming back into your life. There's no decision that you can make to avoid what is and will always be. Like, so what? If they are, so what? It's not healthy right now.
And there's also the possibility that the twin flame relationship or the twin flame connection, you're just not supposed to make it this lifetime. That maybe next lifetime that twin flame connection will be incredibly positive, incredibly powerful, incredibly everything you could imagine a twin flame connection to be, just not this lifetime, and that's why it's so toxic. Because we're not supposed to help everyone, even people that are in our soul group that are, incredibly close to us. If you can't help someone out of their own lessons without damaging yourself, I think we have such a toxic culture of help everyone, and twin flames just reads right into that toxicity.
It does, yeah. The thing about helping other people, regardless if they're your soulmate, your family members, your twin flame, whatever, helping someone means assisting them with work that they're already doing.
Yep.
You cannot save anybody. We only have a chance at saving ourselves, because saving someone means doing the work for them. It's not our work. We can't do it for them. Only they can do it for them.
Yep.
We can assist them. We can support them if they're doing it. But if they aren't, there's nothing that we can do for them that isn't going to be damaging to us and to them.
Yeah. So I think that's about all the time we have for today, guys. If you missed Amy's video from last week about the contracts, soul contracts, and our connection with others and how that works, go check that out. That is posted on the business pages. And if any of you guys have any questions about twin flames, soulmates, I've been kind of studying reincarnation since I was 19, so that's 20-some years. And
I'm not good at math.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot either Amy or myself a message, or post it on the page, or leave a comment in the video. We will try to get back to everyone. And if you need something, you know where to find us.
Also, please leave comments on the video.
Oh, yeah.
Because
And share.
we want topics. We want to address things that you want to talk about. So if there's something that you would like to see discussed, leave a comment. If whatever we discussed left you with more questions, leave a comment.
Yep.
We'll get back to you, okay?
We will definitely get back to you. And also, if you know someone that this might benefit, that this video, the information, the message might benefit, please share with them, tag them, let everyone know that we're here. So we'll be here next Sunday. We'll see you guys. Have a wonderful week, and stop into the stores, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.